Okay, we'll call this meeting of the Guam Election Commission to order. It is 5:41 p.m. Friday, December 20th, and we are located here at the Guam Election Commission Conference Room, Oka Building in Tamuning. We're also live stream at gec.guam.gov/board. Quorum is present. Myself, Jerry Crisostomo, Chair, Commissioner Tony Gamatauta, Commissioner Benny Panaula, Commissioner Ricky Orsini, Vice Chair Joe Maffinis will be joining us shortly. Excuse absence, Commissioner Joe Meno and Commissioner Pat Seville. Also present is our Executive Director, Maria Pangilinan, and our Legal Counsel, Vince Camacho. Certification of public notice requirements. The notice of the meeting were posted in the Guam Daily Post and the Guam Public Notice website on December 13th and December 17th. In front of you is the approval of the agenda items. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Moved by Commissioner Panaula. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Commissioner Orsini. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Moving on to item 4, approval of the meeting minutes of November 5th, regular meeting, and November 20th, the reconvened meeting. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of November 5th and the reconvened meeting of November 20th, subject to any corrections. Moved by Commissioner Panaula. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Commissioner Gamatauta. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Okay, moving on to item 5, correspondence. Maria?
So the Guam Election Commission was subpoenaed by the Attorney General's office, and so we presented them. You've seen almost all the information that we've given them throughout the period that they've been asking us for information with regard to Guam Visitors Bureau. The filing of the conflict of interest statements. So I was guided by our legal counsel, Vince and Jerry, and so I appeared before them, submitted all the information, and that was it. And I made sure they signed that they received all the information. The GVB with legal counsel advice, and we both talked with Guam Ethics Commission. We all agreed that with regard to even the public laws for both 24 and 25 budget laws, the only thing required of all the GVB board members is the conflict of interest statement. And so the difference between that and the Public Official Disclosure Act is that in the Public Official Disclosure Act, not all of the GVB board members are required to file a conflict of interest. The budget laws required them to file that. So that was with the subpoena. I was just there for like 5 minutes, and I just presented it. And it was a grand jury. There was a grand jury.
That was a grand jury.
Yeah, it was a grand jury with Assistant Attorney General Dearling.
So the issue here is they, I guess the legislature passed a budget law that required the Guam Visitors Bureau members to all file a financial disclosure. But that's not what was our interpretation of that.
Well, the financial disclosure described in the boards and commission section, which is where only requires to file if there's a potential conflict, right? So, but they use the same definition.
Okay, so the Attorney General is investigating what? I mean, this issue came up earlier this year.
And last
right?
year.
And last year, yeah.
Yeah, and so last year, legal counsel and I went up to the Attorney General's office to meet with the investigators, and we gave them the same spiel, so.
I mean, because our authority is just to collect what's required to file as a custodian of those documents. And then beyond that is either the Guam Ethics or the Attorney General's office, right?
Or enforcement,
For enforcement, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, any questions or comments from the commissioners on this? Yes, Commissioner Orsini?
So just to clarify, our role at the grand jury hearing was simply just to provide the information, the documents, any reports?
Correct,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Okay, moving on then to the executive director's report. Starting with timeline.
So right now, we are, we're working on the, not purging, right? Not ticking? We're tagging the, we're going to tag both primary and general election rosters now, so you can, so people will know how many, who voted in the primary election. It seems to be a question that people ask, and we've never been able to tag it because the difference in the time. But we're tagging now the primary election rosters, and we will have that, we'll put that in the ECAR, the Election Comparative Analysis Report.
Okay.
And then we're going to start, we've started already with the, with putting together the Election Comparative Analysis Report.
Okay, any comments or questions? Commissioner Orsini?
So the list of people who failed to vote in the general and the primary, they're listed in the comparative analysis report?
No, just numbers.
Oh, the numbers, I see.
Yeah.
But we
We
ta-
will, when after, the names will be on a list. And so that will be available.
Okay, and then we use the general election failed to vote list to remove the voters who failed to vote consecutively 2 general elections in a row, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
But there's nothing like that for the primary, right?
No.
No requirement? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Commissioner Ricky, it just seems like everybody wants that list. So, Tomas and I guess Pashano, we were all talking and we were saying, let's go ahead and, because people want that list,
The failed to vote?
the failed to vote list
Yeah.
for the.
I mean,
But
wasn't it provided in the past?
No,
Or available here?
no, not for primary.
Oh, not for the primary?
Not for the primary. And because of the
That's going to be a
small-
huge list. If it's a 20,
Yeah.
30%
Oh,
turnout.
so it's better to just tick the
Yeah.
ones who voted
Yeah.
rather than the ones who did not vote. So people ask for it right after the primary, but we don't have time to do anything with that between the primary and the general.
Okay. I mean, it'll help whoever, the interested or stakeholders for the general election. Maybe that's one way to increase participation, is tag who didn't vote. Yeah, Commissioner Orsini?
I just hope the public, right, and whoever is watching or the media appreciate the extra work our staff is doing for that, because when I saw that on our time frame, I remember several years ago I was volunteering on a campaign and we had to do it ourselves with the actual logbook. And we had our notebooks and our pens, and we had to do it ourselves. So it was very painstaking, and it took hours. So thank you to the staff, and I hope everybody in the public appreciate that. Thank you.
Especially the primary. Okay. Item B, monthly voter by precinct.
Report is on page
17.
17, and so so we're still getting voters from motor voter. And so this won't go down until it's after we finish purging.
So we're at 62,351 voters
It's
online.
the biggest ever.
Yeah. Okay, any questions, comments? Moving on to item C, I guess that's the online mode of order. What's your total
Yeah,
numbers?
it's
then?
right, report is right behind on page 19.
Page 8. Yeah. Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay, moving on to the monthly financial report, the U.S. Election Assistance.
Okay, those reports
Grant?
appear on page 21. As far as we can see, we're okay for, our financial standing is okay. It seems like USEAC is looking for, so from them, we get 200,000. So for fiscal year 20, every fiscal year, we get $200,000 from them. So we don't know what it's going to come down to this time for fiscal year 25.
Five.
Yeah. But, sir, may I say that the U.S. Election Assistance Commission, at our executive board meeting in December, had announced that they're going to be Guam is going to host a regional meeting of all the territories. So that's Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Puerto Rico, Guam, and CNMI. They haven't given me dates, but it looks like it's going to be early February or mid-February, early to mid-February. So we're looking forward to having, we're having at least 2 commissioners come out. There's 4 of them altogether. It'll be Commissioner McCormick, Christy McCormick, who's been here, and Commissioner Ben Haviland, who's never been here. You've met Commissioner Tom Hicks, and you've met Commissioner Don Palmer. All those guys have been here.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Item E, the Office of Inspector General.
So the audit, we were contacted by somebody from the Inspector General's office, and we're having a meeting. We're scheduling a meeting to see what can help us with the territories, with the audit procedures, and how to do grants, or how to correctly and accurately report the expenditures of the grants.
The reporting of the grants that were.
So, the audit report is already on the EAC website, but I know that the Guam audit, the report of the Guam audit was already on the website, but they're still requesting for more information. So, we'll see. I'll report next time.
Okay. Item F, the campaign contribution and expenditure report filings.
That's on page 24. There are some folks that haven't, I believe, haven't filed. If you look at the blank spaces, and they've been contacted by our staff.
And what do we normally allow? Timeframe to?
So we've, there are no fines. We do contact them, and we just patiently wait until they file.
But then so at some point, do we refer this to the Attorney General's office for the filings? I mean, if they fail to file after numerous attempts?
The commission has the authority to either fine or file something with the Attorney General's office. In the past, the commission has fined for violations, which can include failure to file.
Wow.
But that's up to you guys to discuss when that ultimate. I mean, the law says they are required to file it by a certain day after the election. So that's the deadline, right? Whatever happens for failure to file is really going to be up to the commission.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that if we don't, there's quite a few here, we don't do anything, then they just get away with it, and there's then precedence that the commission doesn't really do anything. So
Yeah.
why would I have to file?
Yep. And that's a big thing in the conference we just came from, on the COGO conference. That's the number one issue is campaign finance.
Filings. Yeah.
Because it not only borders on, election integrity, but it also affects ethical requirements that, for elected or candidates that are running for office. So, and you're right, if there's no implications or there's no enforcement, then why, no one's going to file because they know that
Yeah.
the commission's not going to do anything.
I mean, couldn't we publish in the paper all those that fail to file? Just like you failed to file other things?
Yes.
Pursuant to to our code, the following candidates have not filed their required preliminary and final
Yeah.
report.
Maybe we can, again, write to them now, and then give them a couple weeks maybe, and if they don't, and we'll put in the letter that
We'll publish
we intend to publish the names. Is that something that the commission wants to do?
I know we faced this in
Yeah.
the past elections,
Yeah.
but it
So,
seems to be quite a few
Yeah.
here.
so we plan to ask the Campaign Finance Committee to meet, and then we can put together, as we update our election manual, we want to also update the campaign finance process,
Yeah.
and we can do it simultaneously, and then go through the AAA process for the fines for campaign finance.
Because I know we did it for a PAC, right? That failed to file and were involved in some legal issue on that PAC that just refused to file. Didn't we even levy a fine?
No,
They probably didn't pay it, but.
Did-
Maria, I'm sorry. I know, I remember when Commissioner Perez was still alive, I forgot what year was that, when we did impose a fine on people that did not file for this. Did you remember that?
no, not for those that did not file, but for those with violations of the code, but not the late filing or none filing. That one I don't, from my memory, I don't, and I've never seen where we actually fine them for not filing on time. And I don't know if it was because of we don't have a filing schedule. We don't have a fine schedule, and so that's what we had, from one of the COGO, the meetings that we attend, we put together a fine schedule, and we were going to take it through the AAA process, but through the Campaign Finance Committee.
So the Finance Committee will determine what is the fine?
So the Campaign Finance Committee is made up of 3 of you, and we will propose to you what we think from what we've collected, information we've collected across campaign finance through the nation, and we'll say, this is what they do, this is what we think is appropriate. And again, it should be, I mean, for me, it would be, we would look at how much money they spend over there and how much money they spend here and just make it, it seems, I think one of the, something about it, the amount of the fine is not, they don't feel it or whatever, so even that doesn't stop them from
Yeah.
there. That's the statements that we've been hearing over there.
So
And
if
some
you
of
fin-
these-
So if you find them $5,000, would that,
I don't know whether they paid or not.
Whether they pay or
There's
not?
There's no
I
step
mean,
to collect.
this is too many people that
have
haven't
filed.
filed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have some people here that actually
Yeah.
won, like this
And they
CCU
haven't filed.
commissioner didn't file at all, period, and he won a seat. So I think we need to put beef.
We need,
Into
yeah,
this.
I agree with the chairman. We should do something about this.
Yeah.
We should put a beef on it, man.
I understand if there's 1 or 2, but you're talking
Yeah,
quite
but
a
this
few
is too-
here.
This is the first time, I think, that it's this many. So, Mr. Chairman, so did you want us to write a letter first?
Yes, I think that's, did we just contact them once previously for this, or?
No. What we do is we send them a reminder, and then we send them another reminder. And then on the day of the filing, if they haven't filed, the staff, a bunch of us get on the phone and start calling them. And even after, we called them again to see if they would, and especially the final general election report, that's the most important for us. Because this is what, this gets reported in our election comparative analysis report.
Right. So should we send a final letter, failure to file after whatever date will be referred to the Office of the Attorney General?
Mr. Chairman?
The names too?
And publish the names. I mean, we'll see where that, I mean, you have individuals here that actually won
Yeah.
seats that didn't file preliminary or final.
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend we do a formal letter, as you mentioned, identifying a clear deadline date, and also include in that letter potential penalties should they continue to, or, fail to file, monetary as well as, their files being referred to the Attorney General for further action. But we should do a formal letter with a deadline date.
Mr. Legal Counsel, can we say that we're going to fine them? Yeah, that's,
Yeah, without the structure, I think it,
Well, you can just say, fines are, could be imposed. You don't have to give a concrete number.
because
Be-
when we, eventually when the campaign finance develops that process or that structure, that's going forward. I don't think we'll be able to apply it to this, because we didn't have it in place at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I think a letter, a final
Final-
letter,
Final letter.
and, failure to file, maybe reported to the Attorney General's office, like we report, because they're the enforcement arm,
And definitely that there will be a public disclosure.
yeah. Yeah, and give them 10 days. It's reasonable, because you've already contacted them looks like three times,
And you're already gonna get open.
yeah.
I would also add maybe, just as a footnote, if they need assistance or help with filing, that, we're available to
Yeah.
assist them.
Are we putting that into a motion or what?
When, I mean,
I mean,
they
just
already-
for the
they-
record, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because they already sent
Yeah.
a letter in the context, on this final letter, do you need a motion approving what this letter is going to state? I don't think it's
No.
necessary, right?
an agreement, right?
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
you're just telling me to write.
Because they've already done it with the
Yeah.
Okay.
first two.
We haven't, we've written them reminders, but we haven't written them after the
Yeah.
deadline.
And I know, I mean, it could be, because most of these are mayoral or vice mayoral candidates and others that they may need assistance.
Yeah.
Because the financial disclosure or that campaign finance can be complicated or cumbersome for some of these folks to complete. And if they need assistance, then the commission is able to assist them. Yeah. Commissioner Singh?
For the offices that didn't have a primary and they're blank, were they, I'm assuming they weren't required to file during the primary? Like for the public auditor's office?
Yes, they're required to file if they filed oh, no, not the public auditor, because his organizational report was filed
File.
after the primary. But whoever files an organizational report before the primary needs to file preliminary and final for the primary.
And so this also applies, I was also looking at the Board of Education as well, right?
Okay, yes, so if they filed their organizational report after the primary, they're not required.
Okay, so you'll go ahead and handle that. Okay, that's all for our executive director's report.
Yes, sir.
Moving on then to old business. The first item there is the 2024 general election administrative complaint regarding the Hagåtña voter registration. And the individual making that complaint is not able to be at this meeting, so I would just
Table it, Mr. Chair.
ask the commission to table that. It would make sense to have her here and hear her complaint.
Mr. Chair, I
on
move a
this.
motion to table this administrative complaint until the individual who has filed this complaint is present.
Okay, is there a second to that motion? Or if not, Vince, do you have anything to add on this particular complaint, administrative complaint that was filed?
No, not with regard to the complaint, but just to put on the record that the individual did send the commission an email making that request
This
because
request.
she's off island, just so that that's on the record.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, there's a motion to table this item. Is there a second to the motion? Second by Commissioner Gumatauta. Any further discussions? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Okay. Let's table. Item B, Campaign Finance Committee.
I'd like to convene the Campaign Finance Committee next year, at the in January, maybe before our next meeting, and start working on the updates.
Okay. Then you'll present what the staff will present what the committee is, yeah. Okay. Moving on to item C, Executive Director's Performance Evaluation. I know that we're missing 2 commissioners.
Mr. Chair, I recommend that, or move a motion to table this until the 2 commissioners are present
Okay.
before we address this.
I know we've delayed this one, but I think it's only fair that all commissioners be present for the executive session. So there's a motion to table the Executive Director's Performance Evaluation until all commissioners are present. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Commissioner Sini. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, so sorry, Maria, but we'll table that. Your evaluation, you're going to have to wait. So item 8 is tabled as well. That's the executive session. Moving on to new business, election manual update.
Okay, so we will begin the update, and it has to go again through GAR. So we intend to do that together with the campaign finance process.
Okay, any questions, comments? Moving on to item B, the 2024 Council of Government Ethics Law Conference that was Maria and Vince and Anna went to, right?
Right.
You want to give a brief report? We'll be expecting a written report.
You,
but-
you will give you a written
Yeah.
report. Anna's not back yet.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then item C, the 2024 Election Administrative and Voting Survey.
This is required by U.S. Election Assistance Commission. So we're starting they have a set of questions, and it seems like we've started the process. The questions, we've already answered the questions. As soon as we get the final document, we'll have a copy for you. Or we can give you the link on the website. It's the U.S. Election Assistance Commission website.
Okay, any questions on that?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, moving on to the legal counsel report.
Just an update on the case. As you know, the Supreme Court denied cert to hear the Attorney General's appeal, and so now it's back down at the Ninth Circuit, and they're submitting briefings as to whether the case should continue to move forward and the appeal heard at the Ninth Circuit or not. So that's where we are at this point.
Okay, any comments, questions? Nothing relative there. Okay, moving on to Commissioner Singh.
Sorry, going back to the Elections Administration and Voting Survey, is this survey, this will be done by the staff?
Yes, yeah. And so the EAC, Election Assistance Commission, has a contractor. This is, I think, the second or third cycle that we've been working with this contractor, all of us, all 50 states and 5 territories. And so we're obligated to answer their questions, and then they publish this book, and they send us a copy on how the election is conducted. Yeah.
Okay, let's move to public comments. No public comments. Next meeting, Maria?
January 16th is the third Thursday. Is that good for everybody?
I will be off island. I come back on the 18th.
So do you want to do it January 23rd? Oh, yeah.
I just want to do it when all the commissioners are here so we can go into
Yeah.
executive session.
Do you want to do it when do you come back, Benny?
I'll be coming back the end of January.
There's a January 30th. Is that a good time for you? No, not even? Okay. So the next day is
No, we can do it earlier.
earlier? So you want to do it, January 15th is a Wednesday.
I'll be off island.
Oh,
I come back on the 18th.
the 9th? You want to do it on the 9th?
That's fine.
Benny?
January
9th.
9th. That's just 2 weeks.
Oh, you know what? I want to make sure that we can do the public
right.
public ad.
Because we're just talking about it.
And there's plenty, I don't think we can because of the government holidays. Let me
Yeah.
count.
Okay.
Is it enough?
Because the 9th, you have the 8th, the 7th, the 6th, the 3rd, the 2nd. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
January 9th it
Yeah.
is. If that's okay?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just check, Joe will be back, right? Joe Meno, and then check
Yes,
Pat.
Yeah,
yes.
he'll be back.
So January 9th.
So January 9th.
Yes, our next meeting will be, what day is that?
Thursday.
Thursday, January 9th, 2025, at 6 PM here at the Guam Election Commission
5:30 or
Conference.
6?
5:30, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
5:30 PM at the Guam Election Commission Conference Room. Okay. Entertain a motion then to adjourn this meeting until January 9th, 2025. Okay, moved by Commissioner Penala.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Orsini. All those in favor, say aye. Aye oppose. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. It is now 6:15 PM.